Welcome back, guys. We are going to dive into the world of AEW, the second biggest pro wrestling promotion on the planet after WWE. At one point during the 2020, 2021, 2022, it was the promotion. I mean, they were winning all sorts of awards: Booker of the Year, Match of the Year, Wrestler of the Year, and around 2023, 2024, WWE did a fantastic job of turning things around with their talent. And ever since that has happened, AEW has kind of been on a bit of a decline, if you will. And the headline of today's video is it too late for AEW to turn things around? And I want to answer that right now and say I don't personally believe it's too late. There are some small improvements AEW can make to push them out of this rut, if you will, that they have got themselves into. With just small 5 steps, these little tweaks, these 5 little tweaks that I'm going to talk about right now, these 5 small steps could really rocket them back into the mainstream. We can hopefully see them winning these top awards again: Booker of the Year, Promotion of the Year, Wrestlers of the Year, Matches of the Year, and so on, and really rocket them back into the mainstream, something that we are lacking at the moment. I'm going to jump right into number 1, and it's in-ring ability. This needs to be improved immensely. If you look over, if you compare WWE right now and their work, their in-ring ability to AEW, you can see the difference. AEW make a lot more mistakes. They put on some awesome moves. Their matches are a bit long, and they need to tone them down a bit. I mean, Will Ospreay, for example, he's doing all these backflips, all these cool moves. You don't really need to do too much. Sometimes less is more. Example, John Cena, 5 Moves of Doom. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. And Brock Lesnar, he's got F5 on suplex, 10-minute matches. One of the biggest attractions over the years. It just is common sense. This is where AEW are missing out. They want to put on these bangers, but sometimes you don't need that. Look what they did with Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, and that's still talked about to this day. I'm not saying they've got to do a match where it's 2 minutes. I'm not saying that at all, but instead of doing these 20 awesome moves, do about 5 big spots, work it around a bit, and a bit of storytelling in the ring. You're mimicking a real fight in pro wrestling, and in a real fight, in a street fight, you're not going to be doing all these backflips. It's not a Jackie Chan movie. That's something that they really need to work on. I love seeing long matches, Bret Hart, Ric Flair, but right now, AEW need to be on the defensive. They need to defend their product, and this is one way of doing it. Moving on to number 2, try to go a bit more towards PG. This is their unpopular opinion. Now, I'm not saying they've got to go PG, but their current product involves one of their top guys being impaled. John Moxley getting hit by the spikes is a bit much. I've spoke to a lot of fans of pro wrestling, and they did not agree with this. I mean, some of the comments in some of the YouTube comments read, I think John Moxley's got a bit of a fetish. This is your top guy, And this is what the community are talking about. This needs to be addressed. This needs to be sorted out quick. And I'm not saying they need to be PG, but I've emailed AEW about this. I called this in 2020, saying this stuff is a bit too much. When they had their death match, Kenny Omega and Moxley, I said this is a bit too much. Maybe pro wrestling fans, the majority of fans, don't want to see this type of stuff. We just want to see good old fashioned wrestling, good storytelling, couple of cool moves, go home, come back the next day. And this is something that can be achieved. You don't have to go completely PG and you don't have to go completely overboard. This is something that they really need to sort out. Another thing is the profanity. Every time I tune in to AEW, it's so much swearing, it's this, that, and it does not work. I think because people swear too much, it takes a lot of emphasis away from the mic skills of people, and it doesn't help them move forward with their mic skills. I think they should reduce this so people can improve on their mic skills a bit more. And in doing so, when they do use profanity, there's a lot more emphasis on it. Like, for example, when Cody told Rock, go yourself, and the crowd just went nuts. This is something that they can really learn a lesson from and try to work on that. Not always having to rely on swearing to get over, because it's not working. Number 3, investing in homegrown talent. I cannot emphasize this enough. They need to invest in their homegrown talent, their own talent, not putting WWE's hand-me-downs over every chance they get, not snapping up every WWE talent they can and doing nothing with them. It's the current way they deal with their talent. It's not working. And there's so much they can invest in. There's a lot they can do. For example, a badass woman. Right now, we don't have a badass woman wrestler. That's something they can do. A big guy that can talk. Pro wrestling never really had a big guy that's really good on the mic. If you look at all the big guys, they hardly ever talk. So having a big guy that can talk on the mic, that's something they need to invest in. Here's something else they can look into: culture and ethnicity. You've got pro wrestling that has gone global. Germany, India, Australia, Mexico. The mud wrestling in Africa is very popular at the moment. They can really branch out. There's a market there. And it's what happens when you mix a bit of culture and you bring in a bit of culture, a bit of ethnicity. Eddie Guerrero, for example, fantastic example of what can happen when you take that avenue. You can really do some incredible things. And another thing they can really look into in regards to talent is a good guy. We seem to be going away from faces. I mean, if you look at the current product of WWE, in pro wrestling in general, there's very few good guys, and that don't sit right with me. You need baby faces, you need good guys. If you look at AEW at the minute, there's very few of them, and we do need it. Obviously, you do need your baby faces, and this is something that AEW can really take advantage of. This is something that WWE are even sleeping on at the moment, having genuine good guys. I mean, if you look at majority of their talent, they're all heels or in betweeners. and we need some good guys. You need your Hulk Hogan's, good Hulk Hogan, good John Cena. I mean, you do need all of this to save the day and for storytelling purposes. Once they've ticked these boxes, in-ring ability, eased up on the profanity, pushed a bit more towards the PG, not completely PG, but a bit more, a bit less of what they're currently doing. Investing in homegrown talent. Once they've mastered that, they need to go on to step 4. Take risks with minimal damage. If the risk doesn't pay off, this is something that they need to be calculated about. A good lesson to learn from is when they went all in with CM Punk, not once but twice, and that just completely backfired. If you look over at WWE, for example, they know how to take risks with minimal damage. I'll give you an example. Jinder Mahal. If you look at Jinder Mahal, when they put the title on him, they knew that, okay, it didn't go the way they wanted to, but they knew that if this doesn't work, the worst case scenario, fans hate it, he becomes an even bigger heel. And it didn't work out the way they wanted it to work out. However, the damage wasn't that bad. The risk and the damage wasn't that bad, and they could easily go back to the drawing board and switch things up. This is something AEW needs to learn from. They need to introduce new concepts, see what works, what doesn't, invest in the talent, and go forward. Take these risks. Risks need to be taken. You can't just sit on the fence all day. But yeah, I hope that this is something they do. And step number 5 is storytelling. One of the key components of bringing all of this together and really putting on a show is the storytelling. And it's probably the one thing that AEW has got wrong the most. It's something that they started off great with, and it just went wrong. The product got flooded. The inmates started running the asylum, if you will, and it all just went wrong. And storytelling is the biggest thing that they're missing out on. It's the biggest gap right now. I'll give you an example. They had Edge, Adam Copeland come over, and what did they do with him? Seriously, what's been memorable about his run in AEW? Exactly my point. I mean, as soon as he came, I mean, we could have had dream matches like him versus Kenny Omega, him versus Samoa Joe, things that can still happen. But instead, we got something that we've seen a million times, him versus his brother Christian Cage, his partner, his longtime partner. It just didn't make sense. I would rather have seen them team up, and even that, I think we've seen a million times. We don't need to see. So this is just an example of where they need to improve. Storytelling is one of the key components that bringing all of this together, and it's something that they're lacking at the moment. So if they do take all these steps and we do see improvements in the things that I've talked about, we are going to see AEW do really well, go forward, mix it up a bit, introduce a cool concept like a second world title. They really need to separate Ring of Honor and AEW. Maybe take out Collision and replace it with Ring of Honor and go from there. I really think that would be interesting. They definitely need 2 world titles. That would help them a lot. Maybe take things away. The Trios Championship, do we really need that? Maybe move that over to Ring of Honor. You know, there's a lot of things they could add and subtract and take away. Go back to the drawing board, see what works, see what doesn't. Another good concept is have every event, Dynamite, Collision, so on. I mean, they have so many titles right now in AEW. A good concept would be to have a title on the line every show. At least that's something that they're doing that's different from WWE. That's something that people might enjoy. Little things like this they can start to do. There's other concepts they can look into, but right now this is what they need to do. And I think AEW will be on the attack soon. I think they are just buying their time, licking their wounds, if you will, and they will come back. There is light at the end of the tunnel. All the pieces are there. The talent's there. The capability is there. The in-ring ability is there. It's like a chessboard. All the pieces are there. They just need to put them in the right place. I strongly believe that it's not too late for AEW to turn things around. Will we see this dramatic change going forward? That's down to the illustrious leader, Tony Khan, to really do something special here. And I believe he still can. But I also believe that they might not. This might be a downward spiral thing if they carry on with the way they're doing things. But hopefully they turn things around. Guys, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you at the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and I'll catch you next time.